Hi everyone! Welcome to another episode of Nathan's 3D Factory. In this episode, I'm going to do a little progress on something I was doing last year. So, it's something where now we got Halloween season coming up, and I want to be plenty ready for it. So, this is something I'm doing to get a model that I'm going to 3D print, and I'd like to make it ready for sale. So, first of all, I have these roof structures. And as you can see, this is kind of like a building that has a sort of a cake formation on it. So, for those of you who didn't previously follow any of my stuff, I do have this based off of the real Corn Palace. So let's see if I can find that in here. So, let's see. Not seeing at the moment here. But, let's see. Okay. See what's turned off here. Okay. Yeah. So, I have some stuff here for reference. So I have a limits cube that I'm doing. So that way I know how high and how wide and how deep I'm going to make this thing. Yeah. But now what I want to do, so I want to make some pieces kind of fit together here, right? So, and right here, I'm looking at some pieces where I want this candy corn piece to light up. I want all of them to light up that are candy corn pieces, okay? So all these candy corn pieces I can make light up. So I can tell you right here, I'm going to go back into my layout here so you can see this better. Okay, you notice that this kind of plugs into this area right here. So the ultimate goal is that I want this to light up. I want to be able to use LEDs to light up the interior of this. And so I have that. So it'll get this, this, and this. I'll end up painting these, or I'll print these white, and then I'll end up painting these with a thin coat of orange and yellow. The rest of these I can print with whatever material I want to get them, and then I can paint later if I need to. So with that in mind, what I want to do, so I just want to go through a little bit of progress on this. So something random, I know. And maybe what I'll do is I'll start out with this here, just to show you what I'm doing. Okay, so right now that shows up as hollow. Now I have a subdivision surface on this. I'm also going to add some more stuff to this. So, one thing I need to do is I need to make something for some sort of a rectangle. I want to have it as something to plug this piece into the tower with. And this will be for the central tower. So, what I can do is I can start out with doing the edge select. And then just kind of progressively doing the shortest edge pass by pressing the control while I'm selecting stuff. Then I'm going to press F. And I'll do the same thing here. Okay, just keep going with that. There we go. And then with this, I can do Alt, and it gets the entire edge loop. Okay, I'll do that. Now what I can do is that I can go up this entire thing, and I can make some sort of a plug device, something to set into the tower part of it. So to do that, what I'd like to do is do a Control R, seeing that, it's one of those things that, like, I look at it now, okay, and doing a Control R is not going to get a complete mesh. You're going to have to do some stuff kind of manually there. So I got the vertices, but I can press J to join those together. I can do the same thing here. Okay. I'm going to join those together. I don't have one down here, so let's make one. We'll join those. Okay. And then what I want to do is that I want to take these vertices and kind of just like take them downward. So I'm going to do another loop cut type thing here. And I know these are not going to come out good yet, but we'll get it. Okay, we'll join those. So as funky as this looks with all the colors, we'll fix that in a moment. So what I'm doing is I'm focusing on getting these guys connected. Okay. So I'm just doing a progress video. I'm not doing too much tutorial. This is kind of just freehanding it here, you know? And then what I want to do is that I want to have all these at the same X value as this. So let's see, I'm going to do SX0. Come on. Let's see. It's on global. SX. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Okay. I need to change this to median point. SX0. And then what I can do is do GX. And then GX right here. I'll do the same thing here. Somehow that does not look right. Because it wasn't. Okay. GX. That's better. Alright. One thing that's also good to do is just verify that you actually got it right. Because sometimes they look like they're right, but they're not. In fact, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn off this. Okay. Let's see. Do the same here. So that way I know I'm not getting any, shall we say, constructed vertices from the subdivision surface getting in the way and giving us wrong results here. I want to have these so that these are correct, so that they're actually built off of constructed vertices. Alright, let's see. So I'll do that. So it's always GX that I'm doing, and I have the snaps turned on. Okay. So let's see. So what I'm going to do next then is that I want to have some geometry that still stays hollow here, but I kind of built this so that I would have something to just kind of build off of, you know? So I'm going to delete this face. So we'll X that. Okay, let's see. And then I'm going to extrude these. So if you believe that I am totally improvising this, you're not wrong. I'm totally improvising this. So, I appreciate all of you bearing with me here on this. Now what I can do is just kind of get out of this for a moment, and I'm going to look at the depth I have on this item. And what I can do is go into the local view, turn this real time off for a moment. And then I am going to take a look at the distance here by using the measure tool. One thing to note too is that you want to make sure you're dragging it, then you get it right. Okay, so now I see we have 2.93, so essentially like three units here, right? Let's see. Okay. And then once you're done with the measurements, you just kind of click on them and then just press X. And then that takes care of them. So I'll tab out of edit mode. So that one I need to know 3 is what I wanted. Okay, so I'll turn this back on. Get out of local view by pressing slash again. So we'll go back into here. Tab into edit mode again. E, Y, 3. Now, it's not going to matter so much what I have for the materials right here. This is more reference. But later on, I'll probably just do it just because it nags at me, right? So I'm going to do a loop cut here. And I'm going to grab it and pull it up to here. Okay, I'll do the same thing up here. And just keep going until they're all matched up. And then I'm going to join these together by going join J, right? Oh. Okay. I'm still in the measure tool. So let's see. Here's what we'll do. Just ignore that for now. But I'll go here to here, join. You can also use the knife tool, but the join tool tends to get more immediate, exact results. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we have those all taken care of. Okay. I'll do the same thing down here. And actually, let's look at this and see if we can join those two together. Okay, so not exactly the results I was expecting. Okay, so we'll try this again. Okay, we'll keep going with these. There we go. All right, so now we get more predictable results by going shorter lengths. So did I do that on purpose? Well, not exactly. I'll be totally honest with you. But you know what? This is why we learn along the way. Okay. So now we have that taken care of. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these faces, I'll select them, and then I want to get rid of these. X, F. Same thing here. X, F, not V, F. There's a big difference in, okay, it's another one there. There's a big difference in pressing, in deleting vertices versus deleting faces. So, deleting vertices, it takes a lot more than just deleting faces or deleting edges. So, just for my own personal OCD here, or lack thereof, I'm going to assign that to orange. Okay, and now, and get out of that, turn that on. All right. You definitely see some stuff where we got some cleanup to do. That's not the best looking. I can definitely say that. So I can do a little bit more joining of geometry. So what I want to do then, and when I say joining of geometry, I'm talking about connecting vertices. So I can do that. Okay. And then I can also do some control edge loops on here. So if I go just about all the way there, let's see. And I want that at a factor of 0.9. Another thing I neglected to do here was this. I did not get these connected. Now that makes that look a lot better. So now you have a little more control on what happens with the geometry afterwards. One of the side benefits of doing these materials like this and having the subdivision surface is that you can see kind of what the geometry is doing and what it's going to look like afterwards, and you know, kind of like where things kind of dip in, where they shouldn't go, where they should go. Actually, I want to keep those like that, at least for the moment. I may change my mind in a moment. We'll see how this goes, right? Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn this off for a moment again. So, again, you know, I mean, like this is stuff where you learn kind of how to pivot. There we go. Then you can just join these together as you get them. And I'll have to do it on the other side too. Now, is this going to be the fastest method to do stuff? Absolutely not. Is it relaxing? Absolutely. So that's one thing I absolutely love about doing this 3D modeling, is that it is absolutely relaxing. So I'll just keep doing this. Okay. Until we have these all taken care of. So we do this, and it just keeps getting the mesh looking better. Here we go. Last there. Okay, and then lastly, I know I shouldn't say that. Last of all, is that I'm going to take these bottom ones, and then what we'll do is we'll end the tutorial once I've gotten this all accomplished. And then what I'll do is next tutorial, or next video I'm going to do some more progress on this. So I hope you'll stay tuned to more of the candy corn palace on this. Okay, let's see. Okay. So yeah. Get some more of this stuff here. Not that one. Okay. Now, one thing I want to do is remove any doubles. You press M, merge by distance. So, just looking at some stuff that I'm not quite happy with as far as geometry goes. And I don't know if this is something where I can do like a little bit better building on this, or if I need to flip some normals. So what I can do is I can say Shift N. Okay. All right, so got some other stuff that maybe I need to look at too. I'm also going to put another edge loop cut this way. -0.9. And another thing I want to do is that I want to make sure that all these have quads on them. So I'll keep going with those. So as I'm doing this, and there's like multiple ways that you can look at the geometry on this. So let's see. What I can look at is where I want to kind of end an edge loop here. So I'd like to have, I think I could just do that. Actually, that's a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And then that pretty much solved the problem for me. There we go. There we go. So I think that gives us kind of a solution to go with. One thing I can also do is kind of add a little bit more control right here and do a vertex or edge slide. So if I do Shift V, then I think what I want to do is a 0.9, maybe take a little back. All right, 0.75. I'll do the same thing here. Okay, 0.75 the other way, -0.75. so that's not doing it that way, huh? So if I do this, I've had this happen before. Huh. Okay. I turned off clamp for that, so I guess that's something I need to do. Actually, looking at that, that might interfere with the geometry if I'm solidifying this. So, all right, I'm going to put that at 0.5. Actually, 0.25. I'll do that. Okay. Okay. All right. There we go. I think I'm a little happier with that there. So I will say you're seeing unrehearsed purely working here. So what I'll do is I'll wrap this up by adding a solidify. And I want this one at 1. Looking at that, I don't even like that. Let's see. So let's see. So if I turn off even thickness, Shift N, just to make sure our normals are good. And then I'm going to remove any doubles. So, okay. I'm going to take this down. That's going to be really thin if I do that. So, let's see. I'm going to go back into the global view. Anyway, that was all this work just doing this one candy cane piece. Or candy corn piece, not candy cane. So anyway, this is kind of my progress for now. Let me know what you think of this episode. And make sure to subscribe for more updates. Put a like if you like this episode. Let me know also in the comments what you would like for future episodes. And thank you so much for watching this episode of Nathan's 3D Factory. Have a great day, guys.